Drusilla woke up in silk sheets that probably cost more than her first car, disoriented for a moment before the events of last night crashed back. The knife, the attack, Johan's penthouse, his confession. Maybe I'm not as dead inside as I thought I was. She groaned and buried her face in the pillow. What was she doing? This man was dangerous in every possible way. To her career, her reputation, her heart. She should have left last night, security concerns be damned. Her phone buzzed. A text from her best friend back home. Nality. Bestie. Just saw your Insta story from Eclipse. That club is insane. Are you living your best life or what? If only Nality knew. Drusilla typed back. Living something. Not sure what yet. Call you later. There was a soft knock on her door. Miss Kumalo? Mr. Kong asked me to inform you that breakfast is ready. And there are clothes in the closet. He had his assistant purchase them this morning. Drusilla sat up. He bought me clothes? Yes, ma'am. Multiple options. He wasn't sure of your style. This man was unbelievable. Drusilla showered quickly in the palatial bathroom. Heated floors, a rainfall shower that felt like actual rain. Products that smelled like they cost more per ounce than gold. When she opened the closet, she nearly laughed. Johan had bought her everything from conservative business wear to streetwear to designer dresses. It was like he'd raided every store in Gangnam trying to figure her out. She chose ripped jeans, a cropped hoodie, and her own boots from last night. If he was trying to dress her up like a doll, he'd learn quickly that Drusilla Kumalo dressed for no one but herself. The dining room was ridiculous. A table that could seat 20, but only 2 place settings at one end. Johan was already there, reading a newspaper in a burgundy velvet smoking jacket over a black shirt. He looked like he'd stepped out of a 1940s film noir. Good morning, he said, setting down the paper. His eyes swept over her outfit, and she caught the flicker of approval. The clothes weren't suitable? They were fine. These are more me. She sat down, eyeing the spread of food. Korean breakfast, rice, soup, banchan alongside Western options and, surprisingly, a pot of rooibos tea. You drink rooibos in the morning, Johan said, catching her surprise. I remembered from your interview with Soul Style magazine, the one where you talked about missing home. You read that article? I read everything about you. He said it matter-of-factly, like it wasn't completely insane. I wanted to understand who I was hiring. That article was published a month before I arrived in Korea. His smile was slight but devastating. I know. I've been tracking your career for 6 months. When Eclipse needed a new resident DJ, you were the only name I considered. Drusilla set down her chopsticks carefully. So this whole thing, me getting hired, the contract, everything was planned? Business is always planned, Drusilla. But this, he gestured between them. This was not planned. This was unexpected. I don't like being manipulated. I'm not manipulating you. I'm being honest, which is something I rarely do. He poured himself coffee with steady hands. I brought you to Seoul because you're the best. What happened after, what's happening now, that's real. Probably the most real thing in my life. Before Drusilla could respond, Johan's phone rang. He glanced at it, his expression darkening. Excuse me, I need to take this. He stepped away, speaking rapid Korean. Drusilla couldn't understand most of it, but she caught enough to know it wasn't good news. When he returned, his face was back to that controlled mask. The man from last night talked before he died. Drusilla's stomach dropped. You killed him? No. My men questioned him. Heart attack, apparently. Stress. Johan's tone made it clear he didn't believe that any more than she did. He was hired by a rival. Someone who wants to hurt me by targeting what I care about. I've been here for 3 months, Johan. We barely know each other. How would anyone think? Because I've been obvious. He sat back down, and for the first time he looked frustrated. I've tripled your pay. I've been to every single one of your sets. I haven't been seen with another woman since you arrived. In my world, that's the equivalent of taking out a billboard. So what? Now I'm a target because you decided to develop feelings? Yes. His bluntness was almost refreshing. Which is why you need proper security. And why you should consider going back to South Africa until this is resolved. Absolutely not. Drusilla's voice was firm. I don't run from threats. And I'm not giving up my career because some criminal has a problem with you. Criminals, plural. I have many enemies. Then maybe you should have thought about that before you started sending me flowers and staring at me like I'm the last woman on earth. Johan's laugh was unexpected. Genuine, surprised, a little rusty like he didn't do it often. You're fearless. Do you know how rare that is? I'm not fearless. I'm just tired of men thinking they can dictate my life. She stood up. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going back to my apartment. I'm going to continue doing my job. And you're going to assign me reasonable security, not a whole army, just enough to be safe. And we're going to figure out what this is between us slowly, like normal people, not like some dramatic K-drama. We're not normal people, Drusilla. Then we'll be the abnormal people who take things slow. She grabbed her bag. Thank you for keeping me safe last night. But I'm not a prisoner, and I'm not going to live in fear. She was halfway to the door when his voice stopped her. Have dinner with me. What? Dinner. Tonight. Not business. Not security. Just dinner. Let me take you somewhere. He stood up, and there was something almost vulnerable in his posture. You said we should figure this out slowly. Dinner is slow. Dinner is normal. There's nothing normal about any of this. Then let's pretend. Just for one night. He walked closer, but kept his distance, respectful, careful. I want to know you, Drusilla. Not DJ Drusilla. Not philanthropist Drusilla. Just you. The woman who drinks rooibos tea and misses home and looks at me like I'm not a monster. I don't think you're a monster. Then what do you think I am? She considered that carefully. I think you're a man who's built so many walls that you've forgotten what it's like to have someone climb over them. And I think you're scared that if I do, I won't like what I find. The silence stretched between them, loaded with everything unsaid. Finally, Johan nodded. 7 o'clock. I'll pick you up. Wear something comfortable. We're not going anywhere fancy. You? Not fancy? I don't believe it. His smile was slow, transforming his features. You might be surprised by what you don't know about me, Drusilla Kumalo. After she left, Johan stood at the window, watching her get into the car he'd arranged. His phone rang again, his second in command. Min-jae. The situation is worse than we thought, Min-jae said. Park Sung-ho is behind it. He wants a clips, and he thinks taking out your DJ will destabilize your operations. Then Park Sung-ho has made a fatal miscalculation. Johan's voice was ice. Double security on Drusilla. Triple it. And send Park a message. If he touches her, if he even breathes in her direction, I'll dismantle his entire organization piece by piece. Boss, getting involved with her like this, it's dangerous. It makes you vulnerable. I know. Johan hung up, his reflection staring back at him. From the window, for the first time in decades, he felt something other than emptiness. Fear, yes, but also anticipation. Hope, vulnerability. He was learning wasn't always weakness. Sometimes it was the bravest thing a man could do. That evening, Johan arrived at Drusilla's apartment building exactly at 7. He wasn't in one of his usual custom suits. Instead, he wore dark jeans, a cashmere sweater, and a leather jacket that somehow made him look both more approachable and more dangerous. Drusilla had chosen a midi dress with sneakers, her compromise between effort and comfort. When she opened the door, the look on his face made her heart skip. You're beautiful, he said simply. You're not what I expected. Good. Neither are you. He offered his arm. Ready. The car wasn't his usual black luxury sedan. It was a vintage motorcycle. A pristine Harley-Davidson that gleamed under the streetlights. You ride. Drusilla couldn't hide her surprise. I do a lot of things people don't expect. He handed her a helmet. Trust me. It was a loaded question and they both knew it. Drusilla took the helmet. For tonight. That's all I'm asking. They rode through Seoul as the city lights blurred into streaks of color, and Drusilla held onto Johan's waist, feeling his warmth through the leather. He drove with the same controlled precision he brought to everything else, but there was a freedom in it too, like this was his escape. They ended up at a tiny pojamika, a street food tent, in a neighborhood far from Gangnam's glitz. The Ajumma running it greeted Johann like an old friend. You come here often? Drusilla asked as they settled onto plastic stools. Once a week. She doesn't know who I am. Just that I like her tteokbokki and I tip well. He ordered for both of them in comfortable Korean. This is the only place in Seoul where I'm just another customer. The food came fast and delicious, spicy rice cakes, fish cakes, fried dumplings. Drusilla ate with enthusiasm, not bothering with elegance. And Johann watched her with something like wonder. What? She asked, catching him staring. You're not trying to impress me. Should I be? Most people do. Even when they pretend not to, they're performing. But you. He gestured at her, at the way she was unself-consciously devouring street food. You're just yourself. Life's too short to be anyone else. She wiped her mouth. Is this what you meant by getting to know me? Because I could ask you the same questions. Who is Kong Johann when he's not being the Velvet King? He was quiet for a long moment, watching the steam rise from his food. I grew up poor, really poor. My father was a fisherman who died when I was 12. My mother worked 3 jobs to keep us fed. I joined a gang at 15 because it was the only way to survive. Drusilla listened, not interrupting. I was good at it. Too good. By 25, I was running my own crew. By 35, I'd built an empire. By 45, I'd eliminated or absorbed all my rivals. And by 55, he paused. By 55, I realized I'd spent my entire life fighting, building, surviving, and I had no idea what I was surviving for. What changed? Nothing. For 10 years, nothing changed. I kept making money because that's what I knew how to do. I kept making enemies because that's how the game works. And I kept being alone because I didn't know how to be anything else. He looked at her then, really looked at her. Until 3 months ago, when a DJ from South Africa walked into my club and looked at me like I was just a man in her way. Drusilla laughed despite herself. I wasn't trying to be rude. You weren't rude. You were real. And I haven't seen real in so long I'd forgotten what it looked like. They ate in comfortable silence for a while, and then Drusilla asked, Why don't you have a family? Kids. I never wanted to bring children into my world. And marriage. He shrugged. Marriage requires trust, vulnerability, things I couldn't afford. Couldn't or wouldn't? Both. He met her eyes. Until now, apparently. Her heart did that skipping thing again. Johann, I need you to understand something. I'm not here to save you. I'm not here to fix you or redeem you or whatever romantic notion you have in your head. I'm here to live my life. I know. And if we do this, whatever this is, it has to be real. No games. No manipulation. No using your power to control me. Agreed. And you have to meet my family. If this goes anywhere, my mother will demand it. And she's scarier than any mafia boss. That made him smile. Really smile, the kind that reached his eyes. I'd be honored to meet your family. They're going to hate this. Probably. My mother will interrogate you for hours. I look forward to it. And if you hurt me, my father will find a way to hurt you back. He's creative like that. Johann reached across the small table and took her hand. His fingers were warm, slightly rough, steady. Drusilla, I've done terrible things. I've hurt people. I've made choices I can't undo. But I swear to you, on everything I've built, everything I am, I will never intentionally hurt you. You're the first good thing to happen to me in decades. I'm not fool enough to destroy that. She wanted to pull away. The smart thing would be to pull away. But instead, she squeezed his hand back. Then let's take this one day at a time. No promises. No expectations. Just see what happens. One day at a time, he agreed. They stayed at that street food tent for hours, talking about everything and nothing. Her childhood in Soweto, his memories of his mother, her love of music, his unexpected passion for old films. The Ajumma eventually kicked them out so she could close up, and they rode back through Seoul with Drusilla laughing into the wind. When they reached her building, Johann walked her to her door. Thank you for tonight. Thank you for the motorcycle ride. And for being just a man. For a few hours. It's easier with you. He hesitated, and in that hesitation, Drusilla saw the boy he must have been. Uncertain, hopeful, almost shy. Can I see you again? Not business. Just us. Yes. She surprised herself with how much she meant it. But next time, I choose the place. Deal. He started to leave, then turned back. Drusilla? Yeah. You were wrong earlier. I'm not scared of what you'll find when you climb over my walls. He stepped closer, close enough that she could smell his cologne, feel his warmth. I'm scared you'll climb over them and decide I'm worth staying for, because then I'll have something to lose. And that's more terrifying than any enemy I've ever faced. Before she could respond, he was gone, and Drusilla was left standing in her doorway, her heart racing, wondering what she'd just gotten herself into. Inside her apartment, she called Nality. Bestie, I think I'm in trouble. Good trouble or bad trouble? Drusilla thought about Johan's smile, his vulnerability, the way he looked at her like she was something precious. I have no idea, but I think I'm going to find out. 3 weeks later, Drusilla was living in what could only be described as a beautiful contradiction. By night, she was Seoul's hottest DJ, commanding Eclipse's stage while Johan watched from his usual spot with possessive pride. By day, she was navigating the strangest courtship of her life. Johan didn't date like normal people. He showed up at her apartment at random times with street food from different neighborhoods. He sent her playlists of old Korean songs with notes explaining why each one mattered. He took her to a private animal sanctuary outside Seoul where they fed deer, and he admitted he'd been funding the place anonymously for years. I like things that are free, he'd said, watching the deer bound away. Everything in my world has a price. But these animals, they just exist. No agenda. Is that why you like me? Drusilla had teased. Because I don't have an agenda? I like you because you have your own agenda that has nothing to do with me. It's refreshing. But the danger was always there, lurking beneath the surface. Security followed her everywhere now, discreet but constant. Twice, suspicious men had been stopped trying to enter Eclipse, and Johan's rivals were clearly watching, waiting for an opening. Still, Drusilla refused to live in fear. She expanded her foundation's work, using her increased salary to sponsor more children. She collaborated with Korean DJs, building bridges between the local scene and her South African roots. And slowly, carefully, she let Johan into her life. The morning everything changed started ordinarily enough. Drusilla was at a cafe editing a mix when her phone rang. Her mother's face filled the screen. Mama, it's 3 a.m. there. What's wrong? Grace's face was tight with worry. Drusilla, we need to talk. Your father and I have been seeing articles online about you and some Korean man, a club owner. Drusilla's stomach dropped. What articles? Don't play dumb with me, child. There are photos everywhere. You on a motorcycle with him. You holding hands at some street market. The articles say he's dangerous, Drusilla. That he's involved in organized crime. Mama, it's complicated. No, it's not complicated. You're involved with a gangster. A man old enough to be your grandfather. Grace's voice cracked. What are you thinking? We didn't raise you to be some criminal's plaything. I'm not anyone's plaything. Drusilla's voice rose, drawing stares from other cafe patrons. She grabbed her things and stepped outside. Johan is... Yes, he's complicated. And yes, he's older. But he's also kind and generous. And he treats me with more respect than men my own age ever have. Kind? Generous? Drusilla. He kills people for a living. You don't know that. Don't I? The articles list his alleged crimes. Money laundering. Extortion. They say people who cross him disappear. Grace was crying now. My baby. My beautiful girl. What has he done to you? He hasn't done anything to me, Mama. He sees me. Really sees me. Not DJ Drusilla. Not some trophy to show off. Just me. And when you're arrested as an accessory to his crimes. When his enemies come after you. When you wake up one day and realize you've thrown away your future for a man who will be dead or in prison before you're 30. Grace took a shaky breath. Come home, Drusilla. Come home now before it's too late. I can't do that, Mama. Then you're choosing him over your family. The words hung in the air like a slap. Mama, please don't make me choose. I'm not making you choose. You already have. The call ended. Drusilla stood on the sole street, tears streaming down her face, as the reality of her situation crashed over her. Her mother was right about one thing: this wasn't sustainable. Eventually, Johan's world would swallow her whole, or her family would disown her, or both. Her phone buzzed. On. Dinner at my place tonight? My chef is making something special. She stared at the message, her thumb hovering over the reply. Then another text came through, this one from an unknown number. Tell your boyfriend that Park Sung-ho sends his regards. Check the news. With shaking hands, Drusilla pulled up Korean news sites. The top story made her blood run cold. Eclipse Club fire. Arson suspected. No casualties but extensive damage. Eclipse. Her sanctuary. Her stage. Gone. She called Johan immediately. He answered on the first ring. You saw. Is it really gone? The main floor is destroyed. The equipment, the sound system, everything. His voice was controlled, but she could hear the fury underneath. Park is sending a message. He wants me to know he can hurt what I care about. Johan, this is insane. We have to stop this. We. His tone sharpened. There is no we in this, Drusilla. This is my war, not yours. It became mine when he burned down the place I work, when he tried to stab me, when... She broke off, too angry to continue. Meet me at my penthouse. We need to talk. Johan's penthouse felt different now. Not like a sanctuary but like a war room. Maps were spread across the dining table. His men were everywhere, speaking in rapid Korean. Johan stood in the center of it all, directing operations with cold precision. When Drusilla entered, the room fell silent. Johan dismissed everyone with a curt nod. Once they were alone, he poured 2 drinks and handed her one. I'm rebuilding Eclipse. Better security, better everything. You'll have a job as soon as... I don't want a job. Drusilla set down the untouched drink. I want out. Johan froze. What? It's not working. My mother knows. The whole world knows. And now your enemies are burning down buildings because of me. She forced herself to meet his eyes. I came to Seoul for my career, not to be collateral damage in a gang war. You're not collateral damage. You're... What, Johan? What am I? Your girlfriend? Your weakness? Your liability? She laughed bitterly. My mother thinks. I've thrown away my future for you. And maybe she's right. What kind of future is this? Constantly looking over my shoulder, watching people die, waiting for the next attack. Johan's expression shuddered. So you're leaving? I don't know. I just know I can't keep doing this. I can't be the reason you're vulnerable. And I can't lose my family over a man I've known for 2 months. 2 months and 3 weeks. His voice was quiet, and I felt more alive in that time than I did in the previous 65 years. That's not fair. Nothing about this is fair, Drusilla. His control finally cracked. Do you think I wanted this? Do you think I planned to fall in love with a woman 40 years younger than me? To care about someone so much that the thought of them getting hurt makes me want to burn the world down. The air left Drusilla's lungs. You? What? I'm in love with you. He said it like a confession, like an accusation. I've been in love with you since you stood in my club and told me you didn't see anything because you were there for business. Since you wore your own clothes instead of the ones I bought. Since you ate street food like it was a 5-star meal and made me remember what it feels like to be human. Johan, I know it's impossible. I know I'm too old, too dangerous, too broken. I know your family hates me and your mother is right to want you away from me. But loving you is the only good thing I've done in decades, and I won't apologize for it. Drusilla felt tears streaming down her face. You can't just say that and expect it to fix everything. I'm not trying to fix everything. I'm trying to be honest with you, the way you've always been honest with me. He stepped closer, careful, like she might bolt. If you want to leave, I won't stop you. I'll make sure you're safe, that your contract is honored, that you never have to worry about Park or anyone else. But don't leave because you think you're bad for me, Drusilla. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. And what about what's best for me? Her voice broke. I love my career, Johan. I love helping kids back home. I love my family. And I'm starting to... She stopped herself. Starting to what? Starting to love you too. You impossible man. And that terrifies me because loving you means accepting all of this. The violence, the danger, the enemies, the age gap that makes people stare, the mother who won't speak to me, the whole impossible situation. She wiped her eyes furiously. How is that supposed to work? Johan's smile was sad, understanding. I don't know, but I know that since you walked into my life, I've donated millions to charities. I've reduced my involvement in the violent side of my businesses. I've started thinking about legacy instead of revenge. You make me want to be better, Drusilla. Not perfect, I'll never be that. But better. That's a lot of pressure to put on one person. Then don't carry it alone. Let me carry some of yours. He took her hands gently. Your foundation in Soweto, let me help fund it properly. Your mother's disapproval, let me earn her trust. Your career, I'll build you the best stage in Asia once Eclipse is rebuilt. And the danger, his expression hardened. Park Sung-ho made a mistake. He'll pay for it. And then there will be one less enemy to worry about. You can't just kill your way out of every problem. Watch me. Despite everything, Drusilla laughed. A slightly hysterical sound. This is crazy. We're crazy. Completely. He pulled her closer, resting his forehead against hers. But I'd rather be crazy with you than sane without you. They stood like that for a long moment, just breathing together. Finally, Drusilla pulled back. I need time. Time to think, to talk to my family, to figure out if I can really do this. How much time? I don't know. A week? 2? Take as long as you need. He released her, though it clearly cost him. But Drusilla? While you're thinking, remember this. I'm not asking you to give up anything. I'm asking you to let me be part of your life, however that looks. If that means separate apartments and professional boundaries and only seeing each other twice a week, fine. If that means you go back to South Africa for months at a time, I'll wait. I'm not trying to cage you. I'm trying to love you the way you deserve, freely. Those words stayed with Drusilla as she left his penthouse. As she rode back to her apartment through Seoul's glittering streets, as she lay in bed staring at the ceiling. I'm trying to love you the way you deserve, freely. No one had ever offered her that before. Every relationship, every friendship, every connection had come with strings attached. But Johan, for all his control issues and dangerous life, was offering her complete freedom. The question was, what did she want to do with it? The next morning, Drusilla made a decision. She called her father instead of her mother. Drusilla, my girl. Marcus's voice was warm but cautious. Your mother is very upset. I know, Papa, and she has every right to be. But I need you to listen to me for a minute. Okay? Really listen. I'm listening. Do you remember when I was 16 and wanted to be a DJ? Mama said it was a waste of time, that I should study law or medicine. But you told her to let me follow my passion. I remember. You said that life was too short to spend it making other people happy instead of following your own heart. You said that sometimes the right path looks wrong to everyone else, but that doesn't make it any less right. She took a breath. Papa, I think I'm in love with someone who's all wrong on paper. He's older, he's dangerous, his world is nothing like mine. But when I'm with him, I feel seen. I feel valued. I feel like I can be completely myself, and that's not just enough. It's everything. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. This man, does he respect you? More than anyone ever has. Does he try to control you? He tries. Then I call him on it and he backs off. He's learning. And does he make you happy? Drusilla thought about Johan's smile, the way he listened to her music like it was sacred, how he'd memorized her favorite foods and remembered her foundation kids' names. Yes, Papa. He makes me very happy. Then that's all that matters to me. Marcus sighed. Your mother will come around. She's scared because she loves you. Give her time. Thank you, Papa. But Drusilla, if this man ever hurts you, if he ever makes you feel small or scared or trapped, you come home. No questions asked. Understood. Understood. After they hung up, Drusilla felt lighter. She still didn't have all the answers, Still didn't know how to make this work long-term. But she knew one thing. She wasn't ready to walk away. She texted Johan, "Meet me at that street food tent tonight. We need to talk." His reply was immediate. "I'll be there." That evening, under the fluorescent lights of the Pojangmaka, Drusilla laid out her terms. "If we do this, really do this, I need boundaries. Eclipse gets rebuilt, but I want creative control over my sets. No interference from your business associates. Done. I go home to South Africa at least 4 times a year. For a month each time. I'll come with you, if your family will have me. You will attend family dinners via video call when I'm here. My mother will interrogate you. Extensively." His lips twitched. "Looking forward to it. And most importantly, you start transitioning your business to legitimate operations. I won't be with someone who's actively ordering hits or running illegal operations. You want to own clubs, restaurants, real estate? Fine. But the violent stuff stops." That one made him pause. "That's not a simple ask, Drusilla. I know, but it's non-negotiable. You said I make you want to be better. Prove it." Johan studied her across the small table, his expression unreadable. Then he pulled out his phone and made a call, speaking rapid Korean. When he hung up, he met her eyes. "I just told my second-in-command to start the transition. It'll take time, maybe a year or 2, but it's happening." He reached for her hand. "Anything else?" "Yes. When Park Sung-ho comes for you, and we both know he will, you don't face him alone. We're partners now. That means I get to know what's happening and have a say in how it's handled." "Drusilla, that's non-negotiable," she repeated firmly. "You're going to be trouble, aren't you? The best kind." She squeezed his hand. "So are we doing this? For real? For real?" He stood up, pulled her to her feet, and kissed her for the first time. Soft and tentative and full of promise. When they broke apart, he was smiling. "Your mother is going to kill me. Probably. But you're a tough guy. You can handle one South African mother. I've faced down Yakuza bosses and cartel leaders. But somehow, I think Grace Kumalo might be my greatest challenge yet." Drusilla laughed, feeling hope bloom in her chest. This was crazy. This was impossible. This was everything she'd never planned for. But maybe, just maybe, it was exactly what she needed.
Hello besties, are you all enjoying the story? Episode 2 drops soon. Kindly like, subscribe and share.